A pleasant day, grade 10 Galileo students, and welcome to our mathematics class. Today, we'll be having a discussion on permutation and combination as counting theories. As a starter, suppose you have 6 different textbooks in your backpack that you want to put on a bookshelf. How many ways can the 6 books be arranged on the shelf? Okay, so halimbawa, meron kayong 6 na libro dyan sa inyong mga bags. How many ways nyo daw yan pwedeng i-arrange sa shelf, yung inyong 6 books? Comment your guess in this video. Because as we progress, I know that you'll be able to determine how to solve problems like this. By the way, the objectives of this presentation or this lesson are the following. Use organized list and tree, or what we call branching diagrams, to list all possible outcomes of a trial. Then the next one is you'll be able to identify whether permutation or combination is appropriate to count the number of outcomes of a trial. And number 3, use formulas or calculators, calculator commands to evaluate permutation and combination problems. So these are our objectives, and you expect that in this video lesson you'll be able to know all these 3. Counting outcomes. There are 3 principal ways to count all the outcomes of a trial. So what are those? Number 1 is through a tree diagram you draw. Often a simple multiplication is enough because in counting, we always apply some principles of multiplication. Number 2, systematically write all possibilities. And number 3 is use permutation and combination techniques. Or maybe you could use the formula that we have for permutation and combination. So, tatlo yun, tatlo yung ating gagamitin. Pwedeng gamitin para makapag-solve tayo ng permutation or combination. Pero, ang pinaka-mahalaga na malaman nyo dyan ay yung pangatlo, because sometimes, kapag medyo malaki na yung numbers that we are dealing with, mahirap na yung number 1 at saka yung number 2. Let us have an example. Tossing coins. 3 coins are tossed, or 1 coin is tossed 3 times, and the outcome of heads or tails is observed. Ayan, meron tayong 3 coins, tapos tinos natin yon, O kaya naman, isang coin lang, itinos natin siya ng 3 times. Tapos yung outcome of heads and tails, inobserbahan, sinulat. Okay. Our task is to draw a tree diagram, also called a branching diagram. Ito na yung first step, that shows all possible outcomes. And then state a conclusion, how many equally likely outcomes are there in this problem. Okay, so this is the first toss. When you toss the first coin, so the possible outcomes are head and tail. Ayan. So ito yung hahanapan natin ngayon ng combination. Okay, so nung una mong tinos yan, yung coin, head and tail lang syempre yung possibility. And then, ano ang pwedeng maging combination ni head sa pangalawang pagtotoss ng coin? So that's either head or tail then. So you have HH, and then the other one is HT. Then for tail naman, pag tinos mo yung pangalawang coin, pwede kang magkaroon ng either head or tail. So pwede kang magkaroon ng combination na TH and TT. Alright, for the third toss, yan. So syempre dito tayo magbabase sa second toss. Ano ang possible combinations for H? So that's HT. Kaya magkakaroon tayo ng combination na H, 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 and then we have H, H, T. And then for this T, you'll be having TH and TT. So ang ating combination ay H, T, H, H, T, T. And then for these two, the same lang din. You'll have HT and then HT here. So you will have TH, H, then THT, then T, T, H, T, T, T. So these are the possible combinations upon tossing the coin 3 times. So there are 8 different equally likely outcomes. Magkakamukha lang yan ng chances na maging outcome natin upon tossing the coin 3 times. So we have 8 different equally likely outcomes. So basically, that is how we write or we draw the tree diagram or branching. Yan, ganyan yung magiging itsura niya kasi kaya siya tinawag na tree diagram kasi nga mukha siyang tree. No? Write an organized list. Ito yung pangalawa. For the coin toss problem we just did, ito yung organized list. So here is one possible organization. We have HHH, pwedeng isusulat mo lang, list down mo lang. Then you have HHT, HTH, HTT, then TTT, THT, TTH, and THH. So these are the possible organization of the list na possible outcomes when you toss the coin 3 times. There are other ways to organize. Kahit na anong method ang pwede ninyong gamitin, that is systematic, pwede para wala kayong ma-miss na outcome. Okay? So pwedeng, yan nga, yung kung okay kayo dyan sa listing na in this way, nagsimula ka sa H, yung isa naman nagsimula sa T, okay lang yan. Pero minsan, pwede din naman tayong gumamit ng table. Pwedeng table form yung gamitin natin in organizing our possible outcomes para hindi tayo malito. Basta kahit na anong method na systematic na wala kayong mamimiss na any outcome na pwedeng mag-work, that's okay, that's accepted. Permutation of n objects. Let us return to the bookshelf question, yung kauna-unahan natin kanina. Okay? Suppose we can change the problem to arranging 10 books on the shelf. Kanina kasi 6 lang yun, Yung 6 na books inside your backpack, i-arrange mo in the shelf. Ngayon, ginawa natin halimbawang 10 books on the shelf. Now, how many arrangements are there? Ilan daw arrangement ang pwedeng mangyari sa mga books na ito na ilalagay natin sa shelf? So, para makuha natin yung sagot, that's 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So, let us check using the calculator. So, we multiply these numbers. You have 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So the answer is 3,628,800. That's correct. Ibig sabihin, ganyan karami yung posibleng maging arrangement ng books doon sa shelf. Do you think yung first two options natin in the counting theory ay magiging applicable? Of course not. Kasi ganito karami dapat yung isusulat mo na combination. 3,628,800. Doon nga lang sa 800, siguro mahihirapan na tayo. Yun pa kayang 3 million mahigit, no? So this is now the time for us to use the third way of solving permutation or combination. That is using the formula. Okay? So kung hinahanap lang naman natin combination, then the shorthand notation for this is 10 factorial. Take note of that exclamation point. No? We read that as factorial. So this is 10 factorial. 10 factorial meaning you multiply 10 up to 1. Okay? So that's the 10 factorial. So kung meron tayong 3 factorial, you multiply 3 up to 1. So that's 3 times 2 times 1. Okay. In general, there are n factorial ways to arrange n objects. Yan. Totoo naman, yung n objects, number of objects. Okay? Like for example, we have 5 clothes. Ayan, in the cabinet. How many ways we can arrange those 5 clothes inside our cabinet? So that's basically 5 factorial because that's the general ways of arranging objects. No? So 5 factorial is the number of possible arrangements ng ating clothes inside our closet. The key idea here is that order matters. Kasali lahat. Ibig sabihin nun, kahit na, like for example, if we have AB and BA, magkaiba yon. Yung arrangement ni AB at saka yung arrangement na BA are two different outcomes. So order matters. Nagmamatter yung order. Yung order ng mga objects, laging ibinibilang natin yon, mahalaga. Okay? Kahit na, like for example, you have ABC, iba yung BCA, iba yung CAB. So magkakaiba silang lahat. So kasama sila sa arrangement. Okay? So take note that in permutation, ang key idea natin dito, order matters. What if we have this type of problem? Arranging fewer than all the objects. Halimbawa, may 10 books ka, tapos 4 lang yung slot doon sa bookshelf. Paano ang gagawin natin? Then there are 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 or 5,040 ways to arrange 4 books out of a group of 10. Paano po nangyari yun? Bakit kanina sabi natin, pag nag-arrange tayo, that's n factorial, number of objects factorial. But in this case, this is a special case because there are only 4 slots in the shelf. Ibig sabihin, 4 na aklat na lang ang kasya dun sa shelf, but you have 10 books na natitira pa. No? So ang tanong, ilang ways mo daw arrange yung 4 na books doon sa shelf kung meron kang 10 books in total. So kung makikita ninyo, ayan, we get the 4 highest numbers from 10. So what are those highest numbers? Of course, the first one is 10, next is 9, next is 8, and 7. So you already have 4 highest numbers because there are 4 slots. Okay? So meron pa rin tayo mathematical explanation dyan. It can also be viewed as 10 factorial over, what is that? N minus R factorial. Ibig sabihin, number of objects minus number of events, possible slots. So that's N, that is 10 minus R, that is 4, 10 minus 4 is equal to 6. Kaya nagkaroon dito ng 6 factorial. Kaya yung 6 dito, di ba, 6 factorial yan. Pag inalis mo na yung 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6 factorial yan. Ito din, 6 factorial. So, na-cancel na yung 6 factorial. Saka ito, yung 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 can be deleted or can be eliminated because it is present in the numerator and present as well in the denominator. So the remaining would be 10 by 9 by 8 by 7. Okay? This can be quickly evaluated by this notation, the permutation of n taken r at a time. So we read this as permutation of n taken r at a time. If you have a calculator with you, you may try it and you will have the same answer of 5,040. Okay? Example, how many 3-letter words can be made from the letters A, B, C, and D? Ayan. So we have 4 letters in total here. Ang hinahanap lang natin 3-letter words. Okay? You can use your calculator to answer this. What are N and R? So our N here is 4 and our R is 3. So we are solving for the permutation of 4 taken 3 at a time. And please don't worry that many of them are not real words because we don't care in this context, no? Like for example, sabihin nyo, sir, di naman po word yung nabuo sa BCD. Okay, so don't worry because hindi natin tinitignan ngayon yung sa context na to, no? Kasi ang hinahanap natin dito ay combination of 3 letters, okay, out of 4 letters. We may write an organized list of all the possible words kasi apat lang naman yan. So, you just have to be systematic and be sure that you write them all. Kasi kung meron tayong ma-miss, mamamali na tayo. So, this is an example of writing an organized list. Sabi ko nga kanina, no, pwedeng table. So, we have ABC, then ABD, ACD, BCD, ACB, ADB, ADC. BDC, and so on up to DCD. So, how many outcomes do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 4, we have 24 possible permutations. Okay? Notice also that ABC is different from ACB. Ayan na nga sinasabi ko kanina, ano? Na yung ABC ay magkaiba kaysa kay ACB. Ibig sabihin, binilang natin sila ng magkaibang bilang. So, dalawang bilang yung equivalent nila. Because in permutation, order matters. Isinasama na natin lahat yan kahit na parehas lang naman sila ng content, parehas silang may ABC, di ba? Pero nagkapalit si B at saka si C ng order, so we count them as individual outcome. Because in permutation, once again, the keyword order matters. Suppose we don't care about order, then we are looking at combination. Ayan. Kung wala tayong paki doon sa order, like for example, yung ABC at saka ACB, magkamukha lang yon, hindi na permutation yon. Ang pinag-uusapan na natin nun ay combination if order does not matter. Okay, how many combinations of 3 letters can be made from an alphabet with 4 letters? Ayan. The same given. Sabi, pero yung order do not matter. So yung ABC, excuse me, yung ABC at saka ACB magkamukha lang, saka yung DCA kasi saka itong DAC, saka yung CAB, CBA, magkakamukha lang yan dahil pare-parehas lang sila ng letters. So, ilan na lang matitira? So, basically, this is 1. Then, this is also 1. This is 1 and 1. So, you only have 4 remaining combinations. 4 na lang ang natitira in the 24 permutations. So, they can be seen in the 4 columns. That's right. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Notice that there are 3 factorial, which is our factorial. Permutations of each combination. They can be seen in 6 rows. Ayan. Ito naman yun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 3 factorial because 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 6. So to get the number of combinations of n object taken R at a time, divide permutations by R. So ano na nga ulit yung permutation natin? That's n factorial over n minus r factorial. Pero dito sa combination, para ma-solve natin siya using a formula, i-divide pa natin ulit yung sagot natin sa r factorial. Kaya nadagdagan sa ilalim ng r factorial. Okay? So once again, n is the number of given total numbers. R is the total number of events. So in this case, our n is 4 kasi apat yung letters. Then R is equal to 3 because 3-letter word lang yung kailangan natin. So this is our given. As you can see, n factorial over n minus r factorial. Ano yung n natin? That is 4 factorial. Then ito naman, n minus r factorial, that's 4 minus 3 factorial. So 1 factorial na lang yon. That's 1 factorial and 1 factorial is 1. So what is n factorial? 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, that is equal to 24. 24 divided by 1, 24 pa din. Tapos i-divide mo pa yung 24 by r factorial. What is r factorial? That is 3 times 2 times 1, 6. So 24 divided by 6 is equal to 4. Ayun, tama yung nakuha natin na combination. The combination is equal to 4. And then if you have the calculator with you, ayan, you just solve for the combination of 4 taken 3 at a time. and you will arrive at the same answer, which is equal to 4. Okay, let's have here some examples. How many ways are there to form a 3-member subcommittee from a group of 12 people? And then how many ways are there to choose president, vice president, and secretary from a group of 12 people? Your task here is to number 1, identify whether combination or permutation ba ang hinahanap. Kasi kapag combination, order does not matter. While for the permutation, order matters. Ibig sabihin, lahat pwede. Magkakaiba yun, ano? Okay, so this is your task today, which is to comment or write in the comment section your answer to these 2 questions. Okay? The answer for question number 1 and the answer for question number 2. So dalawa ang sagot nyo dyan dapat, ano? Per number, your answer should be 2. Number 1, identify whether permutation or combination ang gagamitin. And then the next answer would be what is or how many ways are there. How many ways are there? So that's 4 points. Here are more examples. Ayan, para matulungan kayo na makapagsagot dun sa inyong activity. Here are more examples. But if you wanna try, you just pause the video and try solving the problem in your own. And then, if you wanna know the answer already, just continue playing the video. Okay, let us read. There are 5 cabins in the woods at a certain vacation spot. Each cabin has a path that leads to each of the other cabins. How many paths are there in all? Ayan. So, meron daw 5 cabins, ano? And then, bawat cabins ay merong path para makapunta sa from one cabin to another. Ang tanong, how many paths are there in all? Pwede kayo mag-drawing ng pentagon siguro dito, no? You draw a pentagon and then you draw diagonals of the pentagon, then you count the number of pentagons. The first step here is to identify, nagmamatter ba ang order dito o hindi? Like for example, from point A to point B, and then from point B to point A, magkaiba ba yun? Magkaiba ba ng path yun? So kung hindi siya magkaiba, ibig sabihin, order does not matter. Kung ganon, ano dapat ang gagamitin natin? Then we use combination. Okay? This is the combination of 5 things taken 2 at a time because order does not matter. Bakit 2 at a time? Kasi ang tinitignan natin dito ay yung connection ng isang cabin sa isa pang cabin. So dalawa silang cabins. So basically, we are solving for the combination of 5 taken 2 at a time. So the answer here is 10. So there are 10 different diagonals or there are 10 different pathways na pwede nating magawa. Next example, there are 100 communication satellites orbiting Earth. Ayan, marami yan, ano? Communication satellites na nag-orbit sa ating mundo. Each satellite needs a transmit and receive channel to talk to each of the other satellites. How many channels are needed? Ayan, dito, channels ang pinag-uusapan natin. Like for example, yung AB ba, katulad ba siya ng BA? So, dito, since these are channels, magkaiba yon, okay? So we have to use permutations. Once again, we solve for the permutation of 100 taken 2 at a time. Bakit? Kasi dalawang satellites lang naman yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. Okay? Since there are 100, kahit na may 100 communication satellites, then we are solving only for the 2. So that's equal to the permutation of 100 taken 2 at a time. The last one, how many pentagons can be drawn from the vertices of a regular 13gon? What is 13gon? It is a plane figure or a polygon with 13 sides or 13 angles. Pwede rin, ano? So, diagonals, parang number 1 yan, ano? Order does not matter, kaya ang gagamitin natin ay combination. Okay, for your homework, I just want you to keep safe and healthy always. Enjoy staying at home and make your time na maging maganda. Make the best out of your time with your family. Kasama sila, no? Please keep safe and healthy. Huwag munang labas ng labas. Thank you very much and God bless us all.